The world will never forget the horrors of the Holocaust, nor should we forget. We remember so that something like that will never happen again. But did you know something similar is happening again? In 2017, journalists began reporting on the existence of re-education camps in the Xinjiang region of China. These camps look eerily similar to the German concentration camps from World War II. The speed with which these camps are being built is alarming. Time-lapse images of the Dabanqian camp illustrate how these camps are being expanded. There are now reported to be 380 camps in the Xinjiang region. Chinese Communist Party officials first denied the existence of the camps, but when questioned, they later said that they were vocational training centers intended to re-educate Xinjiang's Muslim and Uyghur minorities. The Chinese government released propaganda videos of Uyghurs happily learning inside the schools. But survivors of these camps tell a much different story. They speak of them as prisons, where they were locked in cells and forced to denounce their religion and praise the Communist Party. Gulbahar Jalilova spent over a year in one of these camps, locked in a room with 40 other women. She recalls being forced to stick her arm out through an opening in the cell door once a week to get an injection. She realized that the injections had the effect of sterilization on herself and the other women. What have the Uyghurs done to deserve this imprisonment? The Chinese government has labeled the Uyghurs as terrorists and says that re-educating these citizens is a necessary step for the safety of China. The Xinjiang region has the most high-tech surveillance system in the world. Police checkpoints are everywhere, and citizens are forced to submit iris and facial scans, DNA, blood, and voice samples to authorities. Uyghurs have been arrested for any actions deemed to be extremist. Some of these include making trips or phone calls abroad, wearing a hijab, keeping Islamic books in the house, and having banned pictures or apps on their phone. The Communist Party still insists that these camps are schools, but how many schools do you know that have thick walls, watchtowers, and barbed wire? These are not schools. They are prisons. Once inside these camps, Muslims are forced to denounce Islam and pledge allegiance to the Communist Party. It is no longer safe in Xinjiang to show any connection to your Muslim heritage. Surely the oppression of privacy, the religious persecution and imprisonment of Uyghurs, and the forced sterilization of female Muslims should be considered genocide. Last month, the Canadian Parliament voted to label these actions as genocide, but much more needs to be done. What can Canada do to help? We can impose sanctions on China. We can convince more countries to see this persecution as genocide. We can begin to rely less on China for production, and we can boycott the 2022 Olympic Games in Beijing. What can you do to help? You can peacefully protest to make sure the issue is not forgotten. You can contact your MP. You can sign online petitions to end forced labor in Uyghur camps, and you can donate to uhrp.com. Bottom line, we cannot stay silent and let this happen again.